Boom, baby. We are live. Welcome to Rule Zero.
Oh.
I'm here with Ryan Stone,
There we
author
go.
of Let's Just Get Demonetized Right Off Bat, Fuck Files. And Ryan is here with me. We're going to, Rolo is not here. Rich will be here shortly. Paul will be here eventually. John Fitch, I don't know where he is. Did you put a link in the chat for everybody?
Yeah. Everybody's got the link. It's the summer, and everybody's business is going into overdrive right now.
Right.
So to get all like 5 or 6 of us together in a room is becoming increasingly harder. That
good.
And some guys like sunshine, and Rich is still enjoying his brand new fucking supercar. So
yeah, Rich was talking to me too about like how he only gets. First of all, I don't know why the fuck you guys live in Canada. He's saying that like you guys only get like a couple months of summer, so he's trying to enjoy it. But I was just like, man, I don't know. Like, I'm from Miami, and like when winter comes around in Japan, like I am just a fucking asshole. I hate the cold, dude. I don't know how you guys.
I don't know. I think it's just because I'm used to it there. But I'm from the West Coast originally, where our winters are still just rainy. We just have a rainy season and a summer season. But that, out of all the reasons to leave Canada, that's like 5th on our list. Rich just pointed out his like 60% of his income is basically taxed.
Oof.
Like all tax payments. The only reason he's still here is because he's, he wants to be near his, family.
Right.
And for us, it's because my girl was tied to her career. But now that it's work from home permanently, we're actually looking into expatriating.
Get out.
As soon as Trudeau stops saying you need to have like give us your firstborn child to fly on a plane, we're out of here.
Oh God, no, fucking Trudeau, man. That guy just. Did you watch the G7 stuff? Did you see him at G7?
It's the same as he always is. The one thing you should see is they have a video of him bragging to his wife about how he's like the Messiah and he's going to help everybody. And she told him like, calm down, check your ego. And he's just been worse since then. He doesn't care. Like, whatever. You wanted the sociopath running things, the sociopath's running things. Hope you enjoyed it.
So, guys, we're here at Rule Zero today. Go ahead and share this video with everybody. Hit the share button. Hit the like button. Definitely send $1,000 donation like right now. But we're going to talk about how to fix your life with the red pill. And this subject was actually chosen by me.
Accepted the truth.
Thanks for subscribing, spell check. And but what we're going to talk about, because look, I do a lot of hands-on work with guys in this community. Probably like not to like get into a dick measuring contest, pissing contest, whatever. But out of all the Rule Zero guys, I probably do the most hands-on coaching with all of you viewers out there. Viewers who watch me, viewers who watch Ryan, Rolo, all you guys. And I have noticed something, right? Just got back from America, and later this week on my channel, we'll be talking about the state of America and new updates that I've gotten from China that have shown me that like America has already lost, and China is going to keep on winning. And we're going to go in I actually have some like actual solid verifiable data, like not theory. And this ties into my previous video on my channel where I talked about how the beer bug and then the BLM and then the whole social media stuff was all tied together to get Trump out of office, enslave the people with this whole pseudo virus, and then give China more power because China's even richer now because of this whole thing. So we'll be talking about that anyways. But I'm noticing that in this community, this corner of the internet is like there's a lot of guys who are just okay with complaining about what's happening. That's all they want to do is state the problem, and they want to drone on and on and on about it. But the real problem is your life. A lot of you guys watching us are not watching us because you're where you want to be. You're watching us because you see us as a source of inspiration or data or whatever, because you want to get to where we are, whether it be me, expatriate in Japan, Ryan doesn't have to work for anybody, lives on his own, does his own thing, has complete total freedom. And so we're going to talk about that. So what do you say? What do you say about that? You want to add something?
Dude, it's Rolo and I have both said all the time that it's men being raised as defective women now enough, and you just explained exactly what we mean.
Yeah.
Like anybody in a relationship who knows when a girl's complaining about something, she doesn't want it fixed. She just wants somebody to like validate those emotions.
Right, exactly.
And right there, a guy doesn't want to fix his life. A guy doesn't want to get, and whatever, aim as high or as low as you want in your life, that's fine. But if you're not there, instead of complaining about it to commiserate, actually fix it. And I think that really is, you have to like defeminize guys.
Yeah.
Really just beat the woman out of them, which I'm pretty sure that just got you shut up bed.
Right
Let's talk about beating women. Like, no.
Cuck, your blue pill for life.
Yep. I gotta turn that off. I gotta like this is gonna go out of control.
And that's
Dude, that's pretty funny.
It is funny, right? Let me see. You can still hear me now, but I think let me see. Can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear you. Here, somebody send John $1,000. We need to test the sound if it's working.
Fuck, I just muted you too. I don't know. My soundboard's tripping out. We're gonna have to deal with it. Anyways.
All right, it's fine. Am I good still or muted?
No, you're good. You're totally good.
All right. Yeah, well, just to end it off, and then that's the biggest problem. And then thank God they found like the Rule Zero guys. You, me, Rolo, Rich, all of us. Because the problem is that most guys don't even know where to start, and so they follow the biggest, loudest voice out there.
Right.
And they end up with these guys that follow this stupid caricature of masculinity. Like, I only fuck 9s and 10s, bros. It's like, right now, you're not fucking anything. Stop bragging.
Dude, it's such trash. Like, first of all, shout out to the Dragon Ship, my man Red Pill Thor, with the $9.99 super chat. It says, here's 2 of my favorite and inspiring humans. Thank you so much, Thor. What a nice,
fucking good man.
But yeah, like, yeah, dude. Like, look, you and I mean, you have a book called Fuck Files. You and I we have had sex with a lot of girls, right?
I've had sex with enough. I can't remember how many anymore.
Exactly, right? And so when it comes down to like what we keep around, like a lot of guys just don't seem to realize, like, just because she's a 9 or a 10 doesn't
You
mean
guys don't
that the
donate
sex is that great.
$100 right now. You're
No.
a
You know what I mean?
male. You're a
Well,
cuck,
dude.
You're blue pill for life.
Everybody has that story of their slump buster.
Right.
Like the girl, they had a bit of a dry spell. So like, I didn't really like her, but she was into me. She was a bit of a fatty. And usually that ends up being the best, most appreciative sex ever.
Yes.
Because they have to work for it. And I think that's where guys, but you can get that from 9s and 10s too. But you got to stop treating them like a 9 or 10 because they're not. Like I always say, girls aren't 9s or 10s. There's I'll sleep with you and brag about it. And there's I'll sleep with you and I won't brag about it. And then there's I wouldn't sleep with you. There's just 3.
Right.
Or
exactly.
what does Patrice say? Like 1,000 types or whatever?
He does a 1 out of 38. I think guys just want to hear the fucking.
You guys don't.
There it is. They're sending money just to hear it now.
You're a beta
I
male.
actually kind of like how they're fucking with you like this. It makes me feel like a stripper.
We're basically digital strippers over
Yeah,
here.
come on, guys. I'm trying to dance here. I can't keep the beat.
You're a beta male.
But you know what I mean? Then you treat these girls and you have an expectation for them. It's like, hey, when you're with me, I'm bringing you my A game.
and that's
All you got to do is bring it back. And if the girls don't bring it back, then I don't care what you have. If I'm not seeing any of it, who cares? Like a 9 and a 10 sitting in a glass case is great, but I want a 9 or 10 in my room enjoying the fucking moment. And it's such a simple thing, but it's like earth shattering when a guy finally internalizes it.
Me and my buddy Mac the Day Gamer talk about our sexual interactions with chicks a lot. And, you know, there's some girls we call it DNA matching, right? Like when you're just like so compatible with the girl, she's not like ultra hot on paper or whatever.
Yeah.
Like even her spit tastes good. You know what I'm talking about? You ever have that just like that feral? You're like, I will dive face first into your vagina and then like mouth kiss you right after and just do, you know what I'm talking about? When this encounter.
I'll just call it vibing because I don't want to talk about eating spit. But yeah, I get you.
It's like animalistic. You know what I'm talking about? You're just like, wow. You're like, just do every nasty thing because everything inside of me is like, dump hot loads inside this girl. And
I blamed it on foreign ports though. Like I haven't seen a chick that was under a size 12 in a month. Where are you?
God, that is awful. Let me catch up with these super chats. Chase, $10 super chat. Chase Combat with the good boxing stance there. $10 super chat says that was pretty funny. Thank you, Chase. Toloa Nona, our brother, Samoan brother from Australia, on the crypto call, but popped in here to support the army. Come to Australia, mate, and box a kangaroo. Thanks, guys. Keep doing the Lord's work. Everybody's participating. Charlie from Cultivate Crypto is murdering it. He's doing a Zoom seminar right now with like 700 plus people in it.
Oh, I know. It's absolutely
More
crazy.
people in his private seminar than we have watching us right now.
Hey, fuck, he earned it, right? Power to him. Ooh,
He did.
Another point. Here's the thing. And you guys are wondering how to be like top tier man and all this shit. Notice how John talked about Charlie doing fucking killing it, doing better than him in this one thing.
Right.
A truly successful guy doesn't look at a guy doing better and then like seethe in resentment. Like
Yeah.
if you run into another guy who's awesome with women and you're awesome with women, you're just happy because he's so fucking rare. You're like, dude, finally a friend, a guy I can hang with who's fucking relatable. And that's kind of something else for a lot of you guys. If you're at the point now where you see somebody who's hot and crushing it, and if your first thought is to like get pissed off at him, then you're not there yet. Because I guarantee you, John's a perfect example. Once you get at that top tier of the part where you want your life where it's at, if you see a guy acting like an egocentric asshole making hand over fist, you're like, hey, let's have a beer, man. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think that's something else that like it's hard to elaborate because you kind of just have to experience it for yourself. That's the equivalent of just wanting to eat that guy's spit or whatever the hell you were referencing. I don't know.
Eat
I got
that
nothing.
Girl's spit.
Right. Metaphorical spit. The success spit, you know, that success DNA. I'm not very good with the marketing. You guys can tell, but I'm learning fast.
No. I mean, it's just like more of like when it because you know when the majority of our audience and you know and I'm not trying to be condescending or a jerk or whatever, but the majority of our audience does not have an active sex life, and like a segment of like of people who watch this stuff in this corner of the internet are those guys in the black pill, and those guys like
So,
definitely
you
are
have
not having
accepted
sex.
the truth.
I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm just
That's fine. Hey, it's your guys. You guys are paying for the show. If you just want to pay for us to get distracted every 30 seconds, it's your
Emblem
business.
Draco, thanks for subscribing. I don't know. My soundboard's screwed up. Yeah, I'm trying to mute it, but it's all good. But a lot of guys that watch us, they're not like truly having sex life. So they tend to idealize. They think like, oh, like sex with a 9 or a 10 is the only good sex there is out there. And like they don't seem to realize that most girls that are 9 or 10s are like A, insufferable, B, pretty much useless outside of sex because they're so lazy and they're so entitled. They don't have a work ethic. They don't know how to do anything. Like, and most guys are not like us who have like standards in a relationship, right? Like for you, outside of sex and looks, like what's a standard for you with a woman, Ryan?
Oh, honestly, yeah, pleasant. Like nobody is hot enough anymore for me to put up with any more bullshit. So it's just be pleasant. I don't ask for much, and that's the part that makes me a little jaded. Is I ask for so little, and to watch people constantly trip over not making that barrier. But yeah, I've dealt with a lot of bullshit in my life. Everybody in the military will know you deal with bullshit on a daily basis, and it's just that. I don't want to feel drained after being with you. Outside of looks, that's basically it.
You guys
Dude,
don't donate $100
let's let that
right
play.
now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What can I say? I got the low standards.
Well, no. I don't think that.
Better send me
I don't think that's low at all.
Yeah.
Superman, the magnificent 5 Great British Pounds says, Coach Ryan is trying to make us all Jack Donovans. No, he's not.
In what regard?
He's talking
Because
about-
that could go one of two directions.
we know which direction he's going. Yeah. I don't support that. I don't know. I don't read any of Jack Donovan stuff. I just heard that.
What can I say, guys? How bad do you want it? How hard is that dry spell?
Oh, it's so nasty.
You alpha mailed your way to prison. What do? What do you do?
But okay, like, so for example, right? For me, like if I'm gonna allow a girl into my life beyond sex, right? She has to be a clean person.
Oh,
like not a slob. Like one time I was dating this chick, and you're gonna love this. She left like a Coca-Cola can, like something like this, like on my coffee table and left.
Yep.
Right. And
Right.
I took a picture of it and I sent it to her on iMessage. I was like, this is not okay. I just can't. I cannot. Like, I'm already like a messy kind of person as it is.
yeah.
I have a cleaning lady who comes through and I have a laundry service to handles that stuff. But I'm not like, no pussy is worth like a girl coming through my house and being like nasty. You know what I mean?
I do now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I just can't deal with it. I refuse to deal with it. I refuse to. And that's my personal standard. That and like, you know, like who doesn't have manners too. I can't deal with that stuff. See, a lot of guys, they put up with shit with girls because they have a scarcity mindset because they think, oh my God, this is the only pussy I can ever get. But if they just really took the red pill and understand these women are giving out pussy like hotcakes these days, dude.
Well, and that's what they're attracted to. Because that's why you're saying like the nines don't put in effort. It's because they don't have to.
Yeah.
Not a single person has held her to any standard. So of course she's just going to lie there and starfish. Or of course she's going to treat guys like shit because she gets away with it. And it's almost an aphrodisiac when a guy just tells her no. No is the two sexiest letters in the English language. N and O.
Yes.
And like what you're saying with your standards. Yeah, they're simple standards. So put the pop can away. I bet you're the first guy that's ever texted that chick saying, that's not on.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I was.
Yeah. And she probably got mad.
Good. I got
But she got a little
full
attracted.
page response. Full page response. You know, all I said, picture, this is not okay. But
she sends you back. And who does that long text responses generally? Beta males who are like trying to get with a chick that they don't know how to game.
ugh.
So you've basically turned her into the beta male of the situation. And that's a great place to be.
It is, because you always want to be in the driver's seat in a relationship, and I think a lot of guys don't realize that. Another thing is like a lot of guys they do this, right? I notice this. Like as soon as they bring a woman into a relationship, they immediately want to like stop their grind and like shift their effort to like lift their woman up and like bring her up. And this is a bitch they're just fucking, not a wife, nothing like that. They stop everything of the energy and whatever the power they have to build themselves up, and they try to build the woman up. And they do it in such a beta way that when you bring a woman eye to eye with you, then she looks at you and she's like, dude, you ain't shit. Then she starts straying. You know what I mean? Because once you bring her up to your level, hypergamy takes over, and she's like, well, I'm just going to jump ship now and go find a better guy because, motherfucker, you ain't shit.
Yeah, it's... What is the big one for that? Is guys... The classic story is the guy puts his girl through college, pays for everything, and then she gets there and she realizes she's better than him. Yeah. But they didn't establish first to get the best option. Like, this is something about hypergamy people don't know. They think it's like the worst thing. It just means girls are going to cheat no matter what. All it means is that a girl can be fiercely loyal to one person at a time, her best option. Yeah. And if that's you, she sees other guys as less attractive. She sees her options as gone. She thinks this is the Superman. And keeping that is paramount. And all these guys do these things, think they're rewarding women. Like I said, putting her through college or the stuff you were talking about there. All it does is it slowly convinces her that maybe you weren't her best option. And it seems so simple when it clicks. But again, until you actually read through that, and you stop reading guys talking about it being a hypergamy is like a pack of alpha wolves, and you're just like, ah, fuck, whatever. It's your own fault for listening to incels tell you how to be a man.
Yeah, exactly. And that circles around to this whole, chest beating alpha shit on the internet. And that's why I wanted to do today's episode, right? Because I want to say, how do you use the red pill to fix your life? So like you and I are like, we didn't really have like this grand, like I was a fucking loser my whole life. And then I took the red pill and I got sex. Like you were never like that. I think because we both came from like pretty chaotic childhoods, and that kind of red pills you in its own way.
Oh God. Yeah.
So, but like, well, I don't know. Like, what would you say? Like when you like finally like kind of really got solidified in the red pill, what actions did you take to like make your life better? Because like you're not a corporate slave, you're self-employed, you're in your 40s, you're still very good looking, you have a fucking good woman, your life is good, you're not a fat fuck, like and you're like mentally happy, like you're okay up here, like you're living a peaceful.
Well, it's because I wasn't. And that was the thing. Well, it's because I had the same lie as everybody else, right? If I'm perfect at my job, everybody will treat me well. Like that whole life script shit there. My unit tried charging me with espionage at the time, which is complete bullshit, trumped up charges. Some very Machiavellian commander did that. Whatever. Putting that aside.
What is that about?
Oh, dude. I don't like telling it often. I still have my case file there. I look back at it every now and then and just remember where I came from. But that was the problem.
Espionage. Jesus
like you said,
Christ.
Yeah, I grew up. Everything was going well. Everything was going great. And I turned out being the best top tier guy at your job, being the best sailor I could be. None of that shit mattered because somebody just had a personal beef, right? So whatever. But the thing that clicked for me is I went dark. I'm like, fuck it. If they're gonna play to win, I'm playing for blood. And I just turned my head off. I worked out like a madman at the time, losing that old way of life where I got out of bullshit and made myself into something. Mm-hmm. I thought that was it. I was top of the world. And then some badness happened. I started panicking, had anxiety attacks, and just realizing, like, fuck it. Nobody's going to help me. I got to help myself. Started working out like a madman, which is, I would say, better than any SSRI you could ever take.
Yes.
So I dealt with that. At the time, the girls, like you said, you start slipping. She starts seeing, maybe I got better options. Maybe he's not my best option. Turn that shit around. Not because I wanted to win her back, but because I was tired of even trying. And so I just did my own thing. It ended up with the story.
Comment on the stream, not you.
Oh, yeah. It ended off with me trying to go out on a date to reconcile things, her telling me to go fuck myself, me going out by myself anyway, and then coming back to my place, and on my rooftop there was a hot tub. Chilling with 5 French girls in there, flirting, having a great time at a party, and her coming up to give me a blast of shit and seeing that I had basically moved on. And then everything turned around. So I would say the big red pill moment is the realizing that the world does not give a shit about men, but you can do anything you want as long as you're not worried about getting everybody else pleasing you.
Was this an ex-girlfriend you just said it?
No, that was my girl. Like I said, it wasn't always perfect.
Okay.
And it wasn't her fault. It was just, like I said, if you're having panic attacks, if life's going bad, like, of course they're going to look on. Girls kind of look for a better man, right? So when you slip, there's that chance of losing him. But then I had basically decided to move on, and then she realized, actually, maybe he is worth keeping, and then she made the effort to keep me, and now here we are, happier than ever.
When she made the effort to, like, when that happened to you, what do you mean she strayed? Did she go date somebody? Did she just tell you go?
No. Never got that far. Never got that far. It was mostly just life became like girls love to kick you when you're down kind of shit.
Yep.
I have no doubts though. Probably within 6 months, something like that most likely would have happened. Like it was headed that direction. But, luckily enough, guys like you or me are smart enough to see the writing on the wall and to make changes before it gets that way.
Yep. When they...
But yeah, it's not as good a story as you think either. It's not like Hunter telling a story like, yeah, my wife fucked some dude in basic, and so I fucked a bunch of chicks, and now we're good. Like, I wouldn't...
Jesus. Please don't say that name on my channel.
Fair enough. Or like Murphy there, where like I was worried about her cheating on me, so I sent her to some dude's Tinder house, and now I'm cool because I'm like have abundance. I'm like, I never needed to like do the extreme shit to learn a lesson. I'm like you. You don't have to hit me that hard till I stop wanting to get hit.
Yeah, I would say like when the nowadays the girl's like, I'm gonna leave you. I'm just like,
okay. I wish you the best.
Moment to dry my tears. I'm so sad. I just don't know what I'm gonna do.
But you're not even mad about it anymore. You know what I mean? Like I can replace you. It's fine. Like I'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'm having
You're a cute girl.
I gotta yeah. What am I gonna do? I gotta get Rich on the phone call for a consultation.
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm surprised you don't have one of those make it rain guns that you put the stacks in to start shooting bills everywhere.
Because this is real money, that's why.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, going back to that, yeah, I think like the biggest, I was like never one of these guys that had you see this comment, by the way, Seth McKenna on the stream. I
thought y'all hated, what, like you and me hated each other?
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. No, not at all.
I don't know where you got that impression.
I don't know. But anyways, it's funny. Live the conservative lifestyle and you'll be prosperous. Oof, I don't know about that. But we'll talk about
that's exactly where my fucking problem came in. Left the bullshit to the left, that nice conservative lifestyle. Fuck that.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. So like I'd never been like a guy that's like been sexless or like trying to figure things out or whatever. I've always like, I was always, just enjoying my life and having a good time. Like just, I was like the cool kid in youth church. So, I was like everybody loved me and like all the girls liked me. And, so I was like, hooking up with chicks in the choir room and stuff and like sucking in titties and shit, like when you shouldn't be. So I never had like this, like I like read The Rational Male and 24, I like became alpha,
Yeah, not to berate those guys. Like you all gotta get there somehow.
No,
right?
not at all. But I'm just saying like how hey Paul, I'm just saying how how the red pill really helped me. Like when I was 23, right? When it's funny when I turned 23, I was like, God, I'm so old. Because fucking nobody likes you when you're 23. So goddamn Blink 182 fucking got me. And so what ended up happening was I was like really infatuated with this chick, and I remember like was so infatuated with her. It was self infatuation. I was self inflicted, and then the girl actually wanted to have sex with me, but then like I just blew it all, and I was just like, dude,
It
it
sounds like
was.
my entire teenage years into about 21.
It gets even better. It gets better. I liked her so much that I decided like I would become a Christian again, and then I gave her like a Christian worship CD mix that I made
Oh wow.
Christian worship game. It's my favorite.
with Hillsong and fucking like all the Christian worship songs. And then after she like I like basically over supplicated, went to super beta mode, right? This is
Right.
why I was like fucking like, because what happened was I was taking classes at Valencia College, and I was taking classes at University of Central Florida, and I was taking Chem 1 at Valencia because Chem 1 is cheaper, easier, and you can get an A at community college versus main college, right? So, and I was taking physiological psychology at UCF, and there's this hot white girl, big tits, and was on birth control, named Julie, and she was like totally into me at UCF. And she was like, "Hey, like I heard you taking chem, blah blah blah. I can tutor you." So then she would tutor me. I would boss out and be like, Mr. Top A student in chemistry, and then I would hang out with the other girl, Alexandra, and I would tutor her. And I was trying to fuck her at the same time because Alexandra had a boyfriend at the time, right? And one day, after like 3 months, like Alexandra just like, I think we should just meet and hang out. And like basically she's like, I want to fuck. But then I was like, total fucking Jesus
You guys
idiot
don't
boy.
donate $100 right
And
now. You're a beta
I blew
male,
it, right?
You're a cuck. You're blue
Let
pill
me
for
let this
life.
play.
You're gonna send me $1,000
Thank you. Thank you, P-Dubs. Salute to all the fathers for Father's Day this weekend. Keep leveling up. Yes, indeed. Shout out to all the dads who are not fucking losers. So that sent me into like a pretty hardcore depression for like 3 months, right? Really hard. And I remember I was just like depressed. Like I just stayed in bed. I was just fucked up in the head. And then that's when I started looking really heavily into more I found the red pill shit or whatever, and I started like I was studying like, why am I heartbroken? Why did this happen? Because I was majoring psychology, so when you have a psych degree, everyone's like, why, and curses you for life, really. But that is like what made me realize, like, number one, the only thing a woman is loyal to in this life is her feelings. That is the only thing she's loyal to. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. That's why when she cheats, she doesn't really think she cheats. She's just like, oh, I just fucking felt great at the time, and I just did it. And that made me just realize, like, you can't, as a man, you can't get mad at women for being women. That's like getting mad at gravity. And a lot of men's problems in this corner comes from guys wanting to fall in love with a woman. That's the number one thing. Wanting to fall in love and like using that woman to fill the void that's inside them. And a lot of people in this red pill corner, a lot of this red pill space, a lot of the guys have are really, I mean, a lot of humans in general, but a lot of guys have fucked up issues, unresolved trauma, codependency. And that's something we don't talk about as much on this show and my channel in general, but I'm going to change that on my channel. Actually, I have a big July planned for everybody on my channel talking about. It's actually going to be called Inner Game July. We're going to be doing every episode in July
about it too.
Yeah, you're going to be a guest. So
that'd be fun. We talked about that, man. I agree with you like 100%. It's a major piece, I think.
Yeah, and that's, I want to segue to you, Paul. So Paul, welcome to the show. Guys, I met Paul in Miami, Hot Dude Con. Fucking awesome guy.
Oh, thanks, man.
Fantastic guy. Terribly unpunctual, but that's it.
This is true. I'm on Detroit time.
I'm like, hey, Paul, it's 11
a
a.m.
racial slur. No.
Paul, it's 11 a.m. Come to the beach. All right, I'll see you there. 3:30 p.m. Hey, guys, what's up? But you made it. You made it.
I did. Eventually made it. Yeah, I think that when I deal with a lot of guys, I mean, they come to the red pill because they've had a bad experience usually.
Yes.
That's kind of why I got into this space as well. I mean, it's trying to figure things out, and you go through a series of bad experiences, but those bad experiences create what we would call like a trauma, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, without lack of a better term, we'll call it trauma. Okay. It's your brain is designed to kind of try to prevent you from doing things that are going to get you hurt, right? Prevent you from experiencing anything that signifies a danger. So when something bad happens to you, that kind of imprints in your brain in a different part, neural connections happen, and it makes you want to do things to avoid that problem again in the future.
Right.
This can be really useful if we're running from, you rustle in the bushes and you just anxiety spikes up and you start taking off back to camp because last time it was a pack of wolves that tried to kill you. Really useful for survival in that circumstance, but not so useful when your chick's kind of like not thinking about too much and she's just sort of texting or whatever. You're not sure who she's texting and your anxiety spikes up and you go, that bitch is cheating. And you start then doing a bunch of really maladaptive or aggressive behaviors towards her. And she was just texting her mom. You know what I mean? It's like dudes have things that happen that are bad and they need to be able to deal with those unresolved things as well. That's what a lot of inner games about, is getting rid of the negative effects of bad shit that's happened to you.
Catharsis,
so all this,
right?
What's that?
Catharsis.
Yeah. And all that's left over then is the positive effects of that, which is the learning experience, and going, okay, I'm not going to do that again. Here's my set of ways of handling problems so I don't get in that circumstance again, and then they can move forward. So a lot of guys have a lot of those unresolved issues cause them problems when they try to pick up on women, when they try to maintain frame in relationships and all kinds of stuff. So if you don't get rid of that bad shit, you can't really go forward and have productive, healthy, happy relationships with women. So it's almost impossible. And a lot of guys find themselves in that circumstance. A lot of what I have to do with guys in consults is dealing with that stuff and helping to get rid of that stuff. And there's a whole lot of mental like conditioning kind of things you can do to sort of get through that. And really what you're doing is you're reorganizing kind of your brain in a way. You have neural connections to anxiety. You're just sort of reconnecting different neural connections. So instead of anxiety, you're connecting it to being solution focused and having a sense of, okay, I got this, I can handle this, versus, oh my God, this reminds me of when my mom abandoned me or whatever. Not that you think it consciously, but it's just there in your operating system. So
it's so true, because because all of us on this panel, I mean, like Rich's book, The Unplug Alpha, is phenomenal. Mainly because it's not 19 hours long like The Rational Male.
Right.
4 hours on 1.5 speed, baby. I powered through that bad boy.
Not a boy.
But not for nothing. Roller's book obviously is fantastic. It's a global fucking phenomenon. But Ryan's his book, Paul's services. I really am going to work so hard to help promote you more, Paul, because I just, after meeting you and having conversations with you and, the Masculine Empowerment Network and meeting you through Rich's 1% group. When I first met you, I was like, who is this idiot? But then I just like,
that's normally what people think.
No, I'm just being awesome. I'm just being fully authentic. And then talking to you, I'm like, I feel bad for like my initial judgment of you. And I'm just like, because you're so fucking smart and you really bring something to the table that these guys, that the people need. And the thing is this, right? Like, if you come from like a fucked up childhood, right? Because Rich, I think you had a pretty good childhood, minus, I mean, the burn
Well,
stuff.
my parents stayed together, but realistically, they shouldn't have.
But like, they didn't abuse you and like call you a loser and throw you through walls and beat you ferociously, right?
No.
That sounds like my childhood.
That was my childhood.
Yeah, our childhoods.
But like, there's certain types of guys in the red pill space, and the majority of them have these issues that Paul was talking about. And it doesn't matter how much gym you give them, how much TRT you give them, how much Rich's book, my courses, Ryan's Patreon, whatever they do, if you don't fix the operating system, if you don't fix the belief system in their mind, it's like, we've all of us here, we've seen that one fat friend we have that has like kettlebells at home, he has creatine supplements, he has a treadmill at home, but he's like 240 pounds fat fuck.
Yep.
Because ear is broken. And I think a lot of guys in the red pill space are broken men, and they're, even me, I'm working on fixing my unresolved trauma to this day. And I've been getting better at it. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, when it comes to the red pill, your life is not going to get better just by watching us. It will if you watch us and then, as Rich says, do the work.
Get in the
Rich,
ring.
what would you say, mate?
Get in the ring. Stop sitting in the fucking stadium watching the game other people play. Get on the fucking floor, get on the ice, and try to score some goals.
So
Yeah, man.
Canadian.
Get on the soccer
Look at
pitch,
curling
score a goal.
reference,
You can call
Rich.
it whatever you want, man. Get on the racetrack and win a fucking race.
Sweep hard, sweep hard.
Rich, you
Get on
you
the
got-
ice and sweep.
Rich, you were like red pilled. I'd say, like, was it coming up 5 years ago now? 5 years ago, you were like,
So I came to realize a lot of the beliefs that I held were aligned with what happens in the red pill. Like, I have a video that I put out before I even read Rollo's book. Like, Rollo's book was what red pilled me, that kind of connected the dots. But I have a video that I put out that basically talks about gauging women's interest when you're dating them. Basically, genuine burning desire, the chapter in my book. I mean, it's kind of evolved and it's got a lot better since then, the knowledge and experience that I have when I put it in the book. But I was talking about red pill concepts prior to, the whole red pilling of the Rational Male book series sort of thing. But I was always more or less like a plugged in alpha.
mm-hmm. So did any of the red pill stuff, like anything profound, change you, or did you just kind of add definitions, or what would you say?
I stopped sulking. At times when I was sulking far too long, I stopped feeling sorry for myself. Which is something. What's that?
How long would you sulk?
Dude, I sulked for a long time after I had that like safe world theory collapse. I talk about it in the opening of my book, with what happened with my divorce, the shit with the government regulations, and the breakup with my single mommy. Like, all that shit just fucked up my life. And I was sulking about, like, it's unfair. The government can change regulations. Family law is unfair. It's unfair. This chick's a hoe and she cheated on me and all this sort of stuff. And it's like all these things just kind of like, okay, that's enough, buddy. Like, what does this solve? Me sitting here, whining about it or not sleeping at night over it or whatever. So it's like, okay, so let's solve this and let's get back on our purpose and do something and, become the weapon. Because, dude, I was at a retreat like 2013 or 14, I think it was. And I was basically doing the same thing. I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of other 7 or 8 figure entrepreneurs running businesses that do $250,000 a month. And the guy that was leading the retreat, that was facilitating the whole thing, he was basically like, you're like a fucking racehorse giving pony rides. Like, what are you doing, with this? And, he was, describing all the stuff that was basically tying up my bandwidth. Right. So I'll say this, like, a lot of guys will dive down the rabbit hole. They'll watch some of our stuff and they'll take the red pill and then they'll just kind of like sulk about it. And they go to that nihilistic place. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. If Brad Pitt can't keep a woman, what hope do I have, sort of thing. Right. But I took a different approach. Like, I like to win at life. So it's like, okay, let me see what I can control here. Let me see what I can learn from it. Let me level up. Let me apply this to my life. Let me test some shit that works and doesn't work. Coach tons and tons of guys, learned from me coaching them, fixing their lives. And also, from the experiences that I pulled out of that. Like, there was still times, even in the last couple of years, that I was still surprised by some of the shit that I heard, talking to guys one-on-one. It's like, fuck, really?
Yeah. Yeah. How would you tell guys watching right now that are like, kind of in a medium space or trying to just new to this content? Cause we got like we got new viewers coming in all the time.
Welcome.
Yeah. What would you say to
Nice.
These guys? Like, how would you use the red pill to fix your life? Like, what would you look at objectively? And honestly, I'm going to straight up just plug his book. Like, his book talks about it A to Z. It's like a compact, like, how to not be a fucking loser book, how the Unplugged Alpha. But go ahead, Rich. The super chat's going to come in and start blabbing on here in a second. Hold on.
All right.
I don't turn that off.
So I'd probably start with stop running around looking for shortcuts and cheat codes from other creators. Because, like, anybody can create a YouTube channel and upload a video with that same button that we all use. We all press the same button. It's the same one that...
You're a beta male.
There it is. Just let it play.
You're blue.
Okay. I'm like, where's that coming from?
Right now.
All right, go ahead.
I'm like, shit, I thought I turned off the volume on my YouTube. Anyway, so, but people aren't examining the source of the information that they're taking this from, this lesson. And one of the things that I love about all of us is that we're not pussies. Like, we show our faces. Like, I use my real name, obviously, because I didn't think about planning this when I started to upload to YouTube and having some anonymity, which makes sense, to some degree. But you can look me up. I mean, you can Google the shit out of me. You can look at the businesses that I run, the awards that I've won. You can basically find everything you want. I mean, everything on social media shows me. You got to evaluate the source of the information. And I'm always constantly surprised by the amount of men that will put that are basically simping for other red pill creators, other Mano Swamp type of, creators. And I'm like, really? You watch that guy? Like, you think that's a good use of your time? Like, what do you get out of that shit, honestly? So, and I get criticized, like, we all do from different angles and positions for different reasons, but I've never been criticized by somebody that's been doing something better than me. I just haven't, I see what they pedestalize, so their criticism means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever made fun of your car either.
Well, what do they? Well, okay. So what do they say? Oh, I rented it.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been renting the R8 for 4 years. I've been renting the McLaren for the last 5 months. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Imagine how expensive it'd be to rent that thing.
I was about to say, that's like
for years.
I have no idea.
That'd be a bigger flex, I would think, if you rented that car for a year.
Yeah, I guess maybe you're right. Yeah.
Expensive.
But, going back to how to use the red pill to fix your life. A couple things right off rip. Like, number one, look, if you are fat and or obese or just a skinny fucking twig, like Ryan said, like, you guys understand, man, I was actually kind of in a bad mood earlier today.
You have accepted the truth.
And then I just I'm still like, I got back from Miami a couple of days ago and I'm still like kind of jet lagged. And I just forced myself to go to the gym today. And then when I got out of the gym, I was just like, God damn, I just feel so fucking good. Like, you just feel good. And I don't think a lot of guys realize the power in your body of just by lifting weights, not for the sake to get big and hulking and whatever, but for the sake of like A, discipline, B, like maintaining yourself biologically, and C, like, it puts you in a fucking fantastic mood. When you feel good, you perform good. Like, even a shitty day at the gym is a great day. If you're a guy that's like not in good shape, then that needs to be like number one priority that you have to sort out.
Yeah, and I asked on my community tab on my channel earlier this week, I said, what percentage of the North American population do you think can do 30 push-ups, 10 chin-ups, and skip rope for 3 minutes? Yeah. And it was like less than 5%. And I think they're probably right. And this is like basic fundamental warm-up shit that I do at the dojo 3 times a week, before we get into the stretching exercises and then the boxing and the striking and all that sort of stuff. And it's okay. Is it easy? No, but by working up to it, by doing some work, if you can't do 20 push-ups, then do 10. If you can't do 10, then do fucking 1. If you can't do 1, lean up against a wall and just start doing push-ups up against a wall to start doing something, right? Yeah. If you can't do a single chin-up, then just get a band that like assists you, bringing your body weight up. But just begin. Don't sulk about what you look like and your inability to fix your body. You've got a lot of control over your physical appearance. There's lots of things you can do, man. You can start with managing your endocrine system, your diet, your exercise routine, your rest. I mean, just start.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, the action plan is so important. I mean, I do a lot of things with mental conditioning, but things like, for example, like hypnotherapy is a modality, but it's actually BS though if you don't do action behind it too. You know what I mean? That's the part. So like you have to do the action too. So like when guys are trying to get out of a negative headspace and they have limiting beliefs, limiting things that are holding them back, sometimes they got to do the work up here to try to get out of that space. But the other side of it is they got to do action to recondition new behaviors. They have behavior patterns that are conditioned, thought patterns and emotional patterns that are conditioned as well. They have to recondition that through action, and so that's why, like, when I'm working with a guy, it's always not just like, here's a bunch of, transcendental meditation exercises. Now go float around and think about The Secret and imagine $1 million landing on your face. No, they have to develop an action plan on top of the mental conditioning stuff. It's actually both, So sometimes that guys won't take the action because they have a lot of things that are holding them back mentally, but it's an action plan to take care of that too. You know what I mean? So it's always action based and behavioral based, actually. It's just sometimes the behavior, the action has to go towards overcoming a limiting belief, discovery, figuring stuff out. But what I can't I agree with Rich 100% though on this part, which is that it's that mental masturbation that happens. Guys are trying to solve the problem, solve the anxiety, figure things out. And then they just end up fueling the anxiety by going on someone's channel that's like, bitches, here's why they'll always cheat on you, whatever. And then it's like an hour long, and then they interview some hoe. And it's just fueling anxiety. You know what I mean? Just fueling it. And then they walk away from that worse off than when they started. It's like, if you're trying to do an action plan to get out of bad thought patterns, bad beliefs, and to develop new behavior patterns, consuming garbage is not going to be helpful. And unfortunately right now, because fortunately and unfortunately, the red pill manosphere men's health stuff is trending. You're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna jump on the stuff that's trending and be like, get your ex back in 30 steps, or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, I broke up with someone, I need that course. I cry. And then they're just gonna take this stuff and fuel more of the problems that they have. And so they end up being really counterproductive. So that's Rich, you've been on this kick for a little bit since we talked about it on stereo, cropped up on your 1%, did a show on it Monday. And it's a good kick to be on, though, because too many guys are just literally jerking off with the content instead of actioning things too. It's got to be both.
And they go from place to place to place. It's like, okay, well, they get what they want from Paul, and then they go to Ryan, and they go to John, and they go to me. It's like, dude, get what you need, and then get on the fucking ice and start playing the game, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much either. A lot of times it's just a little bit.
Yeah, I understand if you want to jump deeper in, you want to get into community, Patreon, whatever. Cool, do that. But don't just go into the community and do nothing with that time. You better be leveling up there as well, too.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, Rich. I mean, all you guys are older than me, but you guys are all wise. And from my, as I'm like getting older and becoming more successful and just kind of developing as a man. Do you really think that guys want it though? Like, they watch the content. Like, do you think, because like we're all four of us, we're very driven men. Obviously, Rich, all of us, we're all fucking extremely driven men. But it's kind of like it's kind of like a dark thing to say, but I just feel like a lot of guys are just like they don't want it. They don't want to fix themselves. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to have the girls.
Most guys want to change the world around them before they change themselves. They want women to not be hypergamous. Yeah. They want women to be more loyal. They want, you can go right down the list of shit. Like, they want to eat junk food and have 6-pack abs, right? Like, they want to be able to. I know, right? Like, they want, but they don't want to put in the time and the work that's required to get the results that they're looking for. And then when they see that it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work, then they're like, fuck, I'm not doing that. That's not worth it. Okay, fine. If that's what you've chosen to do, then that's good. Then sit in your corner, play video games, and do whatever it is that makes you happy. Then fine, absolutely. But here's where I have a problem. It's when you're sitting in the cheap seats of the stadium, and you're just yelling at everybody else that's on the floor playing the game. And maybe they're not doing well. Maybe they're doing great. It doesn't matter. But the loudest boos always come from the cheap seats.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's an addiction.
Yeah. So and I don't have time for those guys. Like, I just fucking throw them out. Like, if I'm doing a stream on a Monday night, this guy comes, like, I had one a couple of weeks ago, and people in the comments are like, I can't believe he threw that guy out after paying for his time. Blah, blah. It's like, motherfucker, nobody pays for my time when I'm doing Before the Train Wreck. It's a free show. You got a question, come in and ask, man. I'm here for you. But if you're going to be like a red pill masturbator and waste my time, you're out.
Yeah, and that's a spot somebody who was worth a damn could have taken too, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Value leeches. Isn't that what Rule Zero Dad calls them? Value leeches?
Yeah, value leeches.
Get the fuck out of here.
Let me read this. Nick K says I've had way more success living into the right way of thinking than thinking into the right way of living. Off to jiu-jitsu. 499 super chat. Wait for me to come start shouting on the screen here in a second. But Paul, in the meantime, What do you think? Do you think that because I'm of the I don't know, man. Look, like the smarter I get and the more people I deal with, the more I'm like,
You guys
just fuck
don't
everyone.
donate
Like,
$100.
you know,
Blue pill for
I
life.
just think that they
Send me $1,000 in donation right
don't
now.
they don't want it. Because I want it. I am Rich. You know how fucking driven I am. Like I am a
Yeah, like I talked to you probably about 4 years ago when I first started. Like I had the same opinion of you that you kind of had at Paul at first. You know, I was skeptical. I was like, you know, does this guy really want it? Does he know what the fuck he's talking about? And I remember we had a conversation for like 20 minutes, and you know, this was either on the phone or Skype or Zoom or something like that. And you're like, I don't want to be a fucking loser. Like I want to get out of this situation that I'm in, and I want your help. And I was like, okay, this guy's serious, man. You know, so
yeah. I think that there's a percentage of guys who want it. There's a percent who don't. The percent who want it's going to be less than the percent who don't.
What would you say? 80-20, 70-30?
No, like 5% will do the work, maybe even less.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a lot less.
Very, very small percentage of the male population will do the work to achieve the success and get to the top. Like there's a reason why Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know, kind of like goes up like this, and very few people reach the pinnacle of the pyramid. It's because very few people actually do all the work to get to the top of all that.
Yeah. I think it's more than that too. Like, let's say you want to do work, make yourself top, whatever you want, mogul a business, fucking pick up extraordinaire, it doesn't matter. And you do your best and you fail. I don't think a lot of people want to take that ego hit, that understanding with certainty that you're not good enough. And so they would rather just not do it and then pretend if I tried, I could make it. Maybe. I really do think it boils down to people's egos and that absolutely terrified notion that maybe they're not good enough, which is anybody can tell you that's absolute bullshit. Right. Even if you don't make 100% of your goals, 90% of them are going to be fucking awesome anyway. Fuck, you could fail. Rich, you want to make $100, you only make it halfway there. I'd still say you got a pretty good $500,000 life. Would you agree? And you're still better off than the guy who's like, well, I could have been a millionaire if I tried, and then just goes back to Best Buy.
And, you know, I get flack for saying that I think all men should be millionaires by the time they're a certain age. 40, right?
Could be 35 now.
30, 35 would be nice too, because I mean, you got a lot more runway and you got more stuff you can do with it. You've got better health, obviously, but why wouldn't you want to have, you know, the ability to be spoiled for choice, to choose to live wherever the fuck you want, drive the car you want, be, you know, travel where you want, have more beautiful women that are just more into you. And it's not because of money. It's because you're a higher value guy, you know, you're on the top shelf sort of thing. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Those are all just byproducts of the benefit. Like for me, I wanted to make money to buy fast cars, not to get chicks. And fast cars, by the way, don't get you chicks. They only get you dudes. The only guys that come up and talk to me at the gas station when filling up are men. Nice car. What's it all about?
This
car, they're checking all. It's like,
nice
you know,
beard.
Yeah, right. But
how bad do you want it?
And then it's just like, you know, it just happens to be a byproduct of chasing excellence that women will become abundant and more available in your life, and you'll have, you know, you'll have more to choose from. Prettier women with more attractive, you know, physiques, right? Otherwise, I mean, like, what's the biggest complaint that we always hear from guys that are using dating apps? Oh, there's these overly entitled, bratty women that are overweight with 4 kids in tow from 3 different fathers. I hate using these. I'm not getting, you know, good results. And it's like, well, take a look at yourself first, man.
Yeah.
And,
well,
and you know what the last bastion of hope is, and that a lot of, and it's the last place men will go. The last best place to go get top tier pussy these days is day game. You actually have to go talk to people in real life, guys. Yeah. You got to make eye contact. I know it's scary. You have to, like, you might get rejected. Statistically speaking, you will get rejected.
Yeah.
So they freak out about it. And you know, like I said, I don't know, man. I think that 5% is probably right, because like when I was growing up, you know, I was just thinking to myself that, everybody's driven like me. Everybody's smart like me. Everybody sees the world like me. Like everybody wants to get ahead. Everybody wants to bang broads, money muscles game, you know? And I'm just kind of blown away at like how guys are just content with the mediocrity, for lack of a better word, or just like comfortably numb, like Pink Floyd says, right? What is it? What is it like? Like you're suffering just enough to get by, but not enough to get out from where you want to be. You know,
complacency.
Complacency, right? Comfortably numb.
Well, we're too comfortable as a society too, and that's why people don't really, I think, are less motivated today. I could be wrong, but I feel like they're less motivated today to try to at least get out of discomfort because they're not in discomfort. You could be a failure, in our society today, and we have so much abundance that failures are not uncomfortable usually. You know what I mean? Not really. They're not getting what they want, and they can spurg out on the internet about it, but they're not discomfort to achieving a level of discomfort like someone who doesn't know when they're gonna get their next meal in like World War II era and stuff like that, right? So like there's a lack of resiliency, and the thing is, like leveling up and doing better is causes a degree of discomfort. There's a degree of pain, and that's where the self-help industry, they don't want to tell you that part. It's a lot of feel good stuff that they cram into your head. Oh man, feel good, everything's awesome, and then
no man, pain is inevitable when you're leveling up. Always,
because whenever whenever you're going from where you're comfortable, which you could be comfortable as a failure, as a loser, right? Is to get to this next level, it requires discomfort, requires change, it requires you to challenge yourself, and people are not usually ready to do that. Throw in the addiction element. I say addiction, I don't mean just substances, but they're literally addicted to their own anxieties. Mm-hmm. They're addicted to this spiraling that they're always into, the failure that they're always getting with women, the debt that they're always facing, and the anxiety they feel every couple months when they can't pay their bills. That's actually addicting. Yep. It's I had a addiction expert friend of mine I talked to. He's a sociologist, doctorate in sociology. It talked about a gambling addiction, and he goes, gambling addiction is not being addicted to the win. It's being addicted to digging yourself out of the loss. So they get all of these bad, angry, anxious feelings or whatever, all these really negative feelings. And it's like, oh, I just got to get back up again. And they dig themselves out. They get a little bit above even or whatever, get back to even. And it's like, oh, phew, and they get then that flood of good chemicals in their brain for getting out of it. And then what do? They go right back into, getting behind again and getting in debt again as a gambler. That's an addiction. And a lot of people have that same reaction to their problems. You know what I mean? And so that's why you just don't have a large percentage that can really do the work and fix themselves. But I don't care, I'm going to offer it to everybody. And that 5% or so that wants to, gravitate towards what I'm doing in order to be better, that's who I'm interested in. That means I have a fraction of the subscribers at somebody else's show who's just fueling anxiety. I'm cool with that. It doesn't bother me,
Yeah, I think that this is what I've come to, because now I've been coaching guys. I've literally hands-on coached over 1,000 guys in these past 2 years, actually closer to 2,000 now. And the biggest thing I think that the red pill space, the manosphere, whatever the fuck you want to call us, we're not part of that. We are who we are. We're just individual guys coming together talking on Rule Zero here. But I think what I have come to realize is the guys who, because like for example, I'm going to use you, Rich, right? Rich grew up in a very healthy home. Like his parents weren't abusive. They weren't eating out of trash cans, none of that. Rich was never like, oh, I didn't have sex till I was 24. Like Rich was running through hose. Rich is having, because it's normal. If you're normal up here, you won't have a problem getting girls. You won't have a problem being motivated. You won't have a problem. You wouldn't have approach anxiety. You wouldn't be like, think like, oh, well, I'm only 5'4", so therefore I'll never get laid in my entire life. Like, even though, like, biologically speaking, I'm here because a 5'4" person had sex, right? Like, like a lot of the guys, they don't seem to realize that the biggest problem in this men's self-help space is all here. There's a lot of dysfunction, especially when I just went back to America recently, and it's just so insane for me coming from like a very functional society like Japan, where everything's very organized. People are very well adjusted, educated, well dressed, well mannered, third strongest economy in the world, phenomenal healthcare system. I can go on and on and on. Safe as fuck. Like kids are like walking around like 9 p.m. walking home by themselves from cram school. Like no one's going to kidnap them. No one's going to do anything wrong to them. And then I go back home to America, and it's just like, it's like literally like fucking freak show. And it all stems from here. Like when people are obese, you're not obese because you're an undisciplined fat fuck. You're obese because you are fucked up in the brain, and you're eating to to calm some kind of trauma, to calm some kind of, and like I said,
To feel better. Yeah.
it's in an addiction, right?
Right.
And I think that's the big thing here in the red pill space and this corner of the internet that not a lot of people are talking about, but I'm going to lead the charge on that. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm doing Inner Game July, and like every episode in July on my channel is I'm going to be talking about inner game, how to fix inside, because I've been doing a lot of hypnotherapy lately. Like, I've probably done in the last month, I've probably done 5 sessions, and I'm going to be doing a session with Paul as well here. He has another technique we're going to use, and I talked to him about it in Miami. And the mental clarity and the mental peace and, like, quite frankly, the invincibility that I feel is like, it's truly mind-boggling. And if you look into hypnotherapy, because I know some people are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about hypnotherapy? But people have used hypnotherapy. Mike Tyson, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, Anthony Robbins. Okay, like the list goes on and on and on and on of like global phenomenons in the planet have been using this stuff. And the thing is, I came from the medical device pharmaceutical side, as well as my background in psychology, where I have my degree in. And the pharmaceutical companies and these medical device companies, they don't want to cure you. Like, we cure you here.
There's no money in curing people.
There's no money in curing people. They want to keep you sick, addicted to their drugs. That's what's happening now with the fucking, I can't even say it. The thing, I can't even say it on YouTube because they'll shadow ban you.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what this is all about. When I went home to America, I was like, I couldn't believe the fucking propaganda everywhere. Like, did you get the AstraZeneca? Did you get the fucking this one? Did you get that one? Like, that's not happening in Japan. And it's all about the money, bro. And mentally sick people, you have to pay every month to fucking get your drugs. And a lot of people don't realize this too. The number one abusers of prescription drugs.
You have accepted the truth.
In thanks, Nick Nelson.
That never gets old.
The number one abusers of prescription drugs in America, it's women. Women are the number one, not prescribed, abusers of it. So that's a whole other thing that you could talk about. But once we start curing people and healing them, once you heal yourself internally with like your fucked up inner game, everything happens. I mean, Rich, like, didn't you tell me like you knew some like fat fucking slob that like would just had amazing inner game and he would just like pick up chicks all the time? I remember you had some short guy, or he had some like.
Yeah, I've had friends that were overweight that were great with women because they had good game. I had a friend that I lived with for about 7 or 8 years in my 20s that he must be like 5'5". He used to wear inserts in his shoes so he could get an extra like inch and a half out of them. Dude, he was relentless. He was relentless. You know, chick shot him down. Like, he would close maybe like 1 in 15 or 20. Like, he just would not fucking stop.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It all comes back to the inner game, and I think that's the biggest problem the guys are having, because fundamentally speaking, like, I think America is in the West in itself, like, you know, it's a broken nation. Like, I don't like, they're just focusing on all the shit that shouldn't be focused on, in my opinion. Like, I was watching this channel. I was watching this TV show the other day. You know, Halo Top ice cream, right? Good ice cream, calorie wise, right? But the commercial was like this kind of like long-haired, pudgy beta guy, and it's like, yeah, you should work out. Yeah, you should have the beach body. Yeah, you should, fucking watch your weight. But why would you live a life in shoulds? And it's like Halo Top ice cream, and it's just like, it's like, okay, so basically, here we are in America endorsing being a fat fucking guy who's gonna have diabetes by the time he's 40 and die by the time he's 48, and that's what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the baseline of everything. Ryan, you've been pretty quiet. What do you think?
I've never heard of this ice cream before. And here's my thought. If you'd have asked somebody a year ago about their private medical details, they'd have told you to go fuck yourself. That's fucked up to me. Did you get a vaccine? It's like, it's none of your goddamn business.
People are getting vaccines and then tattoos where they got the vaccine injected with the date stamped on it.
Oh, well, they should have talked to people with a tramp stamp, learned about tattoo regret.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, they'll learn it the hard way.
Man, oh man.
Let's just hope they don't start making flipper babies with the mRNA, because then that'll fucking backfire.
Oh, it's
but
like,
like on the flip side, I mean, you know, if you're watching this and like you've read my book or you've consumed any of the private material that any of these men, you know, dispense, and you're doing the work on yourself, like honestly, man, like it's never been easier for you to stand out from, like, you'll be able to soar like an eagle rather than be hanging around a sea full of turkeys, right? Just apply the work and learn the lessons and dive right into it. But again, you know, I digress. Like far too many men, when they come here and they want to see this stuff, will sit around. I mean, like you'll see it in the comments. I don't know who's been doing it, but somebody's managing your chat, John. But there's like always these morons that are just like these red pill bros, and it's like, hey, baby, better the soap and the alpha, and it's like, fuck off, you loser! Like, what have you done with your life, man?
yeah, nothing. Nothing. And like, my Batman level detective skills have like found some of these guys, and like,
Oh yeah, and like
they
John,
look exactly-
I tip my hat, because whenever you go into your investigative work, it's like, oh yeah, I figured he was a can of smashed assholes, but I didn't know he was this bad. Like his wife beats him. You know, he's shaped like that. Like, give me a break. And you've got the audacity to point, dude. You couldn't go one round with me in a boxing ring.
To be fair, and John, you're gonna love this. So you called that one guy a sack of smash or can of smashed assholes?
Yeah.
He went to the gym and worked his ass off for 6 months just to try and flex on
go.
you on social media. He wasn't fat anymore.
Fat shaming works.
Even the guy who hates you still fucking getting value from you. So you guys are saving lives, dragging them, kicking and screaming to happiness. Round of applause for Rich Cooper. The Smashed Asshole Improvement Program.
There you go. Just call him a can of smashed assholes and he'll go and do some work.
Look at this comment. Artemis Cameron, 1998. Sorry, I don't give out my real name on the internet. 2021. I'm uploading my Vax card with all my medical history to Tinder. It's going to help me get laid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even satire.
Yeah, it is so funny.
And that's a new virtue signal on dating apps too, is like, oh, I've been vaccinated. I got my such and such vaccine on this date.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? Good for you, buddy.
I feel like one day the CDC is going to like push a button and they're all going to turn into zombies. I swear to God.
Oh,
guys, I am telling you, you are going to hear radio ads in 3 to 5 years that are going to say something like, if you took the so-and-so vaccine between this date and this date, you may be entitled for damages. Go to this website and put in your information for this class action lawsuit.
Oh, you can totally bring a thing to market
this shit right now, because I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Oh, it's got to happen. We already have. We don't test stuff well enough as it is.
Nope.
And they expedited the process by a factor of 20.
Yeah.
It's like, it might be, but there's like, somebody's going to get a flipper baby out of this. I don't know who. Somebody.
I just, like I said, going back to what Rich said, shout out to my buddy Pablo. He was down at Hot Dude Con. Pablo will be talking about you on Monday. But you know, what Rich said is so true. I'm reading a book right now, and it's called what is it? I think it's called. It's by Grant Cardone. I think it's called "Be Obsessed or Be Average," right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding so much. Yeah, be obsessed or be average. And I'm finding like so much peace in reading this book, because I'm realizing that I'm not like the average person, and the average person is fucking everywhere. And it's so easy to succeed now more than ever, especially when you factor in the plummeting testosterone levels, right? Because guys are just not driven anymore. Guys and women being raised in broken households. I mean, how many people do you know in your life right now? Type it in the chat. How many people you know in your life right now that are not actively using drugs, including marijuana? Because marijuana is a drug. How many people do you know not using drugs right now? Type that in the chat, right? So many people are addicted to drugs, addicted to pills, addicted to marijuana, addicted to edibles, addicted to alcohol, addicted to food, right? Everybody is so fucked up these days. And all you need to do is not overeat, have a way of creating income, spend less than you earn, save, and have a side hustle, and don't simp. All you got to do is that. And you can, if you do that for 5 years consistently, you're going to be light years ahead of everybody else. But it's just, people are just so fucked up these days, and that's really what it boils down to. So if you want to get, if you're out there and you're a guy like, I'm not fucked up, then you just need to consistently take action in the direction of where you want to be in life. Like have a vision where you want to be, whether it be like, hey, I want 5 girlfriends and I want to be a millionaire and I want to live in Tokyo and I want to be the fucking man, or whatever your fucking dream is. Physically write it down and don't give up on that shit, and optimize your plan as you work towards it. That is how you use the red pill to optimize and make your life better. And the people who lash out and freak out about that, those are people who are the ones that are. Rich taught me this. The everybody who comments in the comment section is crazy. Like, like they crazy love you too much, or they're fucking crazy hate you. Right?
Yeah.
Not all of them. But you know what I'm saying? Like the majority. I mean, we have a large channel like Rich's, not a pleb channel like mine. You know, that's the truth. But like I said, guys, for you men out there, that because this is not like your typical like, oh, like all women are whores episode, right? It's more of like an in-depth episode, and I chose this topic and because I really wanted to talk about this, especially after meeting the guys in Hot Dude Con. And you know, I go out, like I've literally traveled the fucking United States and met people from Rule Zero. Like I had Hot Dude Con Los Angeles. I had like 50 people showed up. I had Hot Dude Con Louisiana, which was awful because it's in Louisiana, but 10 people showed up. I had Hot Dude Con New York, like 25 plus people showed up. Had Hot Dude Con Orlando, 15 people showed up. Had Hot Dude Con Miami in January, fucking shitload of people showed up. And had Hot Dude Con in Miami this past week, 35 people showed up as well, right? And so, the camera just spaz out.
Yeah, you're frozen.
OBS is being state of the art. There it is. There it is. Okay. But anyways, it's the Illuminati. They're coming. They're fucking.
Illuminati again.
You're getting zucked.
Coming for us. But it all boils down to getting your mind right. From the literally the 2,000 plus people that I've coached digitally, and the 150 plus people that I've met in real life, including people in Tokyo, the number one thing I realized is inner game is broken. No infields, no dating, no boot camps, nothing. If you don't fix the inner game, none of this matters. But when you do fix the inner game, it's like, you know, you're like a Ferrari, and you're like, okay, I could finally get out of second gear. I could finally like go third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, and like rip fucking on the highways. And that's the biggest thing I'm taking away from this. That's how you use the red pill to fix your life.
I'll say this just to kind of like tie that all in for you guys. It's like a lot of guys are you know, whinging and whining at circumstances, but you got to realize something. There's, I don't know, 1 million, 2 million, whatever's in a load, okay, that your dad dropped in your mom. You had a 1 in 2 million chance of winning. You were the winner then. So at least you won somewhere at some point in your life. So why stop there? Like why let that be the last time that you win in life, right? There's a lot more runway ahead of you that you can, you know, find some kind of talent or a gift that you can apply to the world. By the way, cannabis is only estrogenic if you combust it, meaning you smoke it. If you vape it, it is not estrogenic.
Yes. And
that's why Rogan's always talking about fucking edibles. That makes sense.
Edibles are fine too, yeah. I mean, they're not estrogenic in your body, but if it slows you down or it gives you like the big time munchies, you're going to, you know, stuff your face with food and be a fat pig again. So just be careful.
It's just better. It's better just to not do drugs in general. If you're going, drugs are a privilege, guys. And if you don't have your shit together, you're not allowed to do them.
Not wrong. Show me the lie.
Yeah, no, seriously. But yeah, that like I said, me personally, at Modern Life Dating and Interview with a Man, my daily show, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is on Monday to Friday, we're going to be shifting gears a little bit and focusing more on the inner game. Because, you know, another thing too, right? Not to give these idiots clout, but like I think a large portion of a staggeringly large portion of the MGTOW and Black Pill community, these guys are severely broken individual. Severely. The word severe, right? Like their ringleader is a 54-year-old guy who literally lives in his mother's basement.
Who, you know, surprisingly, you pointed to all the facts and the evidence that lead to that, still denied that it wasn't him. Like that's how much of a pathological liar these fucking psychopaths are, right?
Yeah, they're pathological personalities for sure.
And you know, they tend to attract like, you know, birds of a feather, you know. Yeah. So they all kind of get together and they commiserate, and that's it. And you know, if you think that's a good use of your time, do it. You know, fair enough. But what are you really doing with your life, you know?
Nothing.
Imagine putting out a hit piece on our Rinky Dink channels, John. It's like, fuck, guys. You couldn't
I
even
know.
aim high on being a piece of shit. Come on.
Right? Can you like fucking tag somebody with 1 million people? Like my pleb ass channel, like, let me tell you about modern life dating. Like this guy.
Oh, this will win his
You live in
3,000
Tokyo.
subscribers.
He doesn't even live in Tokyo. That's a green screen. And wow.
They used to bother me at first, because I'm like, fuck, how do I deal with this shit? But then I kind of realized that unless I actually talk to these guys, nobody watches it. So who
fucking
cares?
aim higher for Christ. Like go after Ty Lopez.
Well, here's
Right.
here's the upside of all of that is the thing that you got to realize is that they probably have some guys that are a little more dialed in watching them, who then come your way, watch your stuff, and then think to themselves, you know what, that guy is a loser. I'm going to go follow this new guy over here because he's actually wrong about him. So it's like your largest unpaid marketing force. So they're doing you a favor if you look at it that way.
I do.
Thank you, Mr. Tomato Farmer.
That's why I always tell them they're my unpaid marketing team. Like they send me so many clients. Those idiots. Every time they talk about me, my sales go up. I'm like, thanks, morons.
Yeah, I had a gay guy that did this hit piece on me earlier in the week. I mean, dude, I've had feminists, I've had Can a Smash Asshole pair dudes, do like hit pieces. I've done guys that elected themselves. Like I've had all of these nerds that have like tried to do hit pieces on me. I've never had a gay dude. That one sent me the most business ever, man. I got like 20,000 extra subs or followers on my TikTok account just from that in 1 week.
Dude, that was the laziest hit piece I've ever seen. All he did was
so
quietly
bad,
watch your shit, and then I can't even, guys. Can you believe? Oh my god! And I was like, stop emoting about how you're gonna have an emotion on this and say some shit. Come on, it's been like 10 minutes.
Shouldn't you be at a pride parade? It's fucking June. Like
I know, man. Thank them. Just slow clap to your haters because they're doing you a favor, sending at least a handful of people over that are dialed in properly.
I love it. No, like I said, and that's the thing. And another thing is this too. Like when you take the red pill, here's a big part, which is a lot of guys don't realize. And I had a guy call into my show Friday. I do a free consultation Friday where people call in for free, and kind of like Rich's show before the train wreck. That's the show, or is it Playing to Win when they come talk to you on the show?
Before the train wreck, I take call-ins on that on Monday nights. Before
the train wreck, you can go on his show Monday night, talk to him for free, and then somebody called me the other day, Rich, like I was given so the name of my show is Free Consultation Friday. He's like, why are you giving this guy bad advice? Like he should get better advice. I'm like, dude, it's called Free Consultation Friday. Like I'm doing my best over here. And they're bitching about the free advice of saying, but anyways, it's fucking, and that's why I'm like, part of me, like when this shit happens, like, Illuminati people call me, like, let's just fucking take them all out. Let's just
wipe give me that Joe Rogan payout.
Just put me on the payroll. I'll do the fucking the devil horns, and I'll wear the fucking I'll do the symbolism, whatever you got me to do. I'll wipe them out.
Do you ever get guys that call in and challenge you, John? Because I've been asking for the last 2 or 3 months. I've been saying, look, I get a lot of DMs, a lot of emails from guys saying that I'm wrong and that their solution is better. And I've been inviting people for the last, literally, if you think you have a better solution to a problem that I've addressed, call in the show and let's chop it up. Do you ever get guys calling in?
No, they don't. They don't, because they're cowards.
That was my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a single hater showed up to Hot Dude Con Miami. It's pretty funny.
Well, John, I'll put it this way. Like, speaking of like free and arguing and all this shit, Rich, you keep telling me to up prices on stuff and I keep not listening to you and you keep being proven right. When I first put my book out and the audiobook, I put out a big thing. Look, guys, I've got free copies. All you got to do is read it and then put out what you think, good or bad. I don't care. Good press, bad press, whatever. Not a single person. I think one guy DM'd me and said, sure, I'm in. Didn't put anything out on it either.
Because they'll perceive value as lower when you offer it like that. I had a big barriers to this because I just help people out because that's who I am as a person. You know what I mean? So like, that's just what I do. Right. But then I realized after a time though, that like, okay, they are not invested in their own success. I would find myself, this is long before I even started like Apex Mindset and stuff. I'd find myself more invested in people's success than they were, like military friends of mine, dudes who, are just like, okay, they're done deploying. And that was like the peak of their life. And now they're depressed and all kinds of stuff. I would be more invested in their success than they were invested in their own success. And it was never going to work. If you don't charge a fee that makes sense and that's at least, commensurate, or at least, a little bit commensurate with your value, they're not going to be invested in their own success. I mean, the reason why therapy models fail, part of it is because they go to their insurance company. Their insurance pays out a fixed amount of money for like 24 visits a year. They show up to the therapist. The therapist isn't really motivated in their success. Yeah. So they just sort of sit there, take notes, every now and then give a little bit of advice. But most of the time, it's them just emoting to somebody, twice a month or once a week.
Masturbation.
Right. And then they never actually fix anything. And to the person, the client, they're not really paying in their mind. The insurance is paying usually.
You have to have skin in the game, right? If you're not paying, you're not paying attention. Bottom line.
Right. And so now you take that to somebody who's paying a consult fee, whether it's a few $100 or to a few $1,000, depending on what type of consultations you're getting. They want results from that session, and they're going to take what you do and put it to action. Because
you'll notice that they show up with notes. They usually, break down like the timeline before you get started. Right. They're always very observant on that. Like whenever I do my calls, and my calls are expensive, like I'm right on the top. I deal with professionals. I deal with 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs. Like I'm $2,000 an hour. I'm not cheap. They show up. I'm like, hey man, the thing bills by a minute. We can go as long as you want or as short as you want. He's like, perfect. And it's like, I'll just keep him moving along right through the points as quickly as possible, because it's better for him, but it's also better for me. So I'm not sitting there for an hour over something that I can solve in 20 minutes. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They're invested in their own success though. And that's the point. If they're not invested in their own success, they have to want it more than I want it for them, and because
most people don't.
Yeah, right. And so you have to charge, and I try to balance it, probably, too much on the side of the other, the less expensive side of the balancing, but I want to get more access to my stuff at different price points. I know not everyone's going to be able to afford my, some of my consultation fees, especially as they go up, but that means they have other barriers to entry that are a little bit lower. A course, I got a mini course and a big course coming out. I do have a gigantic ass 3-part series book thing going on that I have to finish editing, but a book cost isn't going to be that much. A course, whether it's the big or small one, is going to be lower than a consultation with a lot more hours of stuff. And then you got YouTube for free. So they have all these options where they can get help, and that solves, what I'm trying to do, which is help dudes out and not just take their money. But at the end of the day, if they're going to want my time, that they have to be invested in that. And if I don't charge them a fair amount for that, they're not going to be. And that's just the reality of it,
Yeah. And again, like I said, I think it goes back to what you said earlier about addicted. As we talk about damsels in distress, and a lot of a lot of the red pill space and the manosphere space spends a lot of time shit talking women, but really the real solution comes looking in the mirror and to an extent shit talking yourself. Like, bro, you're fucking broke, bro. You got no money. You got no game. You haven't talked to a girl in 3 months.
Hold yourself to a higher standard before you try to hold women to any standard. You have no business trying to hold women to any standard whatsoever if you're like a fucking 4 out of 10. Like, get on your purpose, dude. Yep. Get on it.
And I was just thinking of the fat chicks with their shopping lists. It's like the male equivalent.
And even then, I mean, like, once you become the best version of yourself, you're not going to bother trying to hold these entitled, bratty thoughts accountable to anything. You're just going to be like, get lost, pound sand. I got these 3, 4, 5, 10 other ones over here that I can deal with right now instead.
Yeah, I laugh at these
willing,
only girls,
willing. You know what I mean? Sorry, Paul. Like what Rich said, like the thing is, and the thing is this too, like in America, 70% of people are fat.
Yeah.
Dude, it shows.
Is it that high? Is it 70% now?
70% of Americans are overweight or obese.
I thought it was like 2/3, but even that was high when I was quoting that number a few years ago.
66%. 70 is just a 4% bump, but 70. So you just have to not be fat.
Yeah, just start there.
Okay, I'm not fat. They got that going for me. And then
you got
number 2 is
now You're a beta
Thank you
male,
very much,
you're
King Dre.
cuck, You're blue
For
pill
the
for life.
$20 super
You're send
chat.
me
Appreciate it.
$1,000 in donation right now.
NLD
And that's-
is the hottest dude of all time. Thank you so much. King J's a great guy, man. Working with this guy, fantastic individual. Like, we're going to be doing a lot more work together because he understands the side. He holds, he doesn't sit around and shit talk women. And I think that's the biggest problem. I've like, like the missing 21 chromosomes convention. Like, fucking, let's shit talk women. Let's find the fattest motherfucker up and put him on the stage and then have him shit talk women. It's like, bitch, you're gonna die in 3 years of a heart attack, and you're shit talking women. Like, stop. At the beginning of my show, interview with the man, I tell everybody, and I quote a book called "You Need More Money" by Matt Monero, and the biggest concept I took away from that, it says, decrease your judgment of others and increase the judgment of yourself. And that's what men need to do. You can't sit around and bitch about women being the way the women are. Women aren't going to fucking change, and they're definitely not going to change for you. So it is your responsibility, your duty as a man to be the fucking best person you can. I've been rich and I've been poor, and I choose rich every time. I've been fucking out of shape, and I've been in shape, and being in shape is just so much better. Okay.
The weird thing is, a lot of the Manoswamp spends a good deal of its time judging others and like throwing stones from a glass house, right?
Ego projection.
Go for it.
It can't be my fault. It's got to be their fault. It's not that I'm unattractive and not that they treated me bad because there's anything wrong with me. It's because they're bad women.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's why it's an anger phase. Like, call it the phase. You got to get that out of your system. A guy is ego invested. He's angry because he knows things aren't going right. There's an injustice in there. Naturally, they're going to project that onto women. But you should get that out of your system. The guys that are using it as like a business model, I think those are the real predatory types in here. They basically want you to hate women. And it's no different than like the angry feminist who's saying men ain't shit.
Well, they don't even want you to just hate women. They want you to hate guys that are chasing excellence, that are getting the women.
Wow.
Oh, yeah?
That's the competition. Gotta hate them.
You gotta hate the competition, right?
Like I'm not like, it's gonna sound like I'm shit talking him, but whatever. Like, the guy Better Bachelor, right? I get a lot of shit because he blatantly, like, I have a degree in psychology, and all I did for 4 fucking years was read psychological reports and like how to like understand sample size and statistical relevance and all these things. And there was an episode of him blatantly, incorrectly interpreting data from a fucking survey, only to use it to harp on and cry about like,
You guys
women
don't
suck
donate
and
$100
I suck
right now.
and life
You're a
There's a
sucks,
lot of that going around, yeah.
right?
You're blue
And
pill for life.
it's funny
You better send me
because
$1,000
these
in donation right
Fucking
now.
thing.
yeah, I know these channels, right? I'm trying to be serious in here. I am like spurging out. When it comes down to those kind of channels, right? And I think this is what people, they're like, the black pill movement is growing. Like, yeah, because people are getting shittier. People are getting worse. Like, people are getting fatter, dumber, weaker.
Indicator of what's going on out there. Yeah.
It's like sick. Like, women are becoming more and more whores in America, and like dudes are becoming bigger fucking pussies. And it's like, duh, like, no shit, you're gonna have a bigger fucking audience. And that goes down to like what we're talking about. Like, when I went to the Rebel Capitalist event, right? Only like 700 people were there. But if you go to like a fucking football game, it's like 30,000 people there, drunk, paying like $14 for a shitty Jack Daniels, watered down, and eating like popcorn, like, oh, go team, right? That's just the type of person you should not aspire to be versus the type of person us men here on the panel are telling you it's best to be, because we have all chosen the hard road and it is less traveled, but it's fucking awesome. Dude, like, in the past month, I've been to Nagasaki, I've been to Ishigaki, which is an island in Japan. I've been to Shizuoka Prefecture, where Mount Fuji is. I've been to Miami, and I'm gonna go to fucking shit little more places over the next couple of months. Why? Because I fucking work my ass off. I do the work, and I study every single day, and I take care of my health, and I work really hard on myself, and I'm living a fantastic life. And why? My question to you guys out there is, why would you not want to do the work? It's just such a foreign concept to me. I really don't understand that. We got a 400 ruble. What is that? Is that rubles? Russian ruble? I think that's Russian rubles. What is
Probably.
400?
It's
What is
about
that?
7 cents, maybe. I don't know.
Oh no! Have you guys done dopamine detox? What's the best way to do it? Rich, you're pretty good at that, understanding that stuff.
Well, detoxes are for people that have addictions, so I don't do that many detoxes. I mean, I started doing celery juicing about a year ago, and I was talking to John about that not too long ago, and he's got some great results out of that too. But
Amazing.
I don't have a lot of experience with like detoxing your receptors, mostly because I don't need to.
Yeah.
I turned my phone on silent.
Yeah. So
and leave it face down.
Yes. Just
Turn off
isolate
all of your notifications.
Yeah, I got 3 notifications. If I get alert from PayPal, Stripe, or if my mom texts me, anything else on my phone doesn't go off. So that starts with that. But you have to just like get away from things that fucking crack you out on the dopamine, dating apps, because you have to understand these devices here, these smartphones, these things are fucking engineered to fucking make you addicted. They are engineered to make you addicted. Tinder is engineered to make you addicted. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all of this stuff. So just get out of it and then literally go into nature, like go into like a woods, go into like greenery, and that shit literally detoxes you. That's why I went to Ishigaki. It's like an island in Japan. Like there's like a population like fucking 70,000 people, nothing there. And I swear to God, I feel like ultra rejuvenated when I come back from that place. So that's what I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah, let me throw in on this. I'm actually co-signing everything you say, John. To systemize it, and have a guy who
Blue pill for life.
Sorry.
Better send me
you have a guy got to
go
do super chats in order to really get a good dopamine detox. But no, so I mean, go out and segregate yourself, do a camping trip or something real simple where you shut off technology, shut things off for a couple of days, and you're literally just doing not a whole lot, but like hiking, biking, being out in nature, that sort of thing. It's a place that we're, instinctually more or less wired to exist in more than we are where we normally exist, like in a little office with, a screen in front of me. Right. And so do that for a few days. And then when you come back, you start removing, you have a plan set to remove all these distractions that are in your life. So I don't have a single notification on my phone, so it's just one of those things. If somebody tries to get a hold of me, there might be a lag time before I get back with them because I don't have notifications on my phone, except for certain things set up for emergencies. Start chunking your time a little bit differently. Stay away from things that are designed to fuel your anxiety, fuel those addictive aspects of your brain where you're getting small dopamine hits by scrolling through dating apps, small dopamine hits by scrolling through social media and news sites, even YouTube. Now, YouTube is good when you can put on something of value, listen to it in the background or listen to it while you're doing something, whatever, you're driving, doing a passive and an active activity, but you overstimulate those dopamine receptors when you start utilizing technology in a way that our brains aren't really designed to handle it. What this does is it puts your brain waves into a high beta state. So I don't mean alpha beta like, the alpha male, beta male, talking about brain waves. So normal state is like a low beta state is your normal brain waves when you're just thinking logically and functioning normally. But when you're in an anxious state or where your anxieties and with the lack of a better term, anxieties are fueled and up, you're in what's called a high beta state. Right. This is when you react to the world and erratic and with a lack of emotional self-control. And so when your brain's doing this over because if you looked at the wave, it's like erratic looking. You want to bring that down to a low beta or even what's called a high alpha state, which is a peak performance state. And you want to be able to do that more often. Our ancestors were functioning in high alpha, states most of the time. And then they would get spikes of stress, like when they go on a hunt or if they have to get into a fight or if they have to do something, they'll get spikes of high beta stress. But then once that spike was over, which might last a real short amount of time, they come back down to a beta to alpha state in their brainwaves, that's where we're most emotionally self-controlled and have the most serenity, happiness. We're in a relaxed mental state. You can be creative, you can make calculated decisions, and just do better in that state. But we have all these devices and things that are designed to bring you into this higher state. And then that stimulates those neurochemicals and stuff like that. And the thing is, those neurochemicals, like your dopamine receptors, those things get tired. All right. This is why a lot of entrepreneurial coaches will say, get your hardest things done in the beginning of the day, because as you utilize them, they get tired and you need to rest and recover in order to recover those receptors. But if
that's why people need to do more drugs, and like, because the receptors get burned out. Like the first time you smoke weed, it's like,
yes.
oh, I'm dry. Then you have to like smoke twice as much or drink twice as much. That's
to get the same effect, right? And so last thing is, so like when you guys have that 10-minute, 20-minute break or whatever, and you get on this thing and scroll around, all you're doing is hammering those receptors more and tiring them out. And now at 2:00, you're tired. You're not motivated to get through your actions. When you time block in like 30, 60 or 9-minute time blocks, and then take a 10, 15-minute break, and that 10, 15-minute break isn't buried into this, but you go for a walk or I do an alpha brainwaves meditation is actually really good. We just sit in quiet for like 5 or 10 minutes without stimulation. Your brain recharges, and then you can go back and hit it and be more productive. And so you have the big detox, which is go out in nature for a few days when you're all inundated with all this shit to break bad habits. But the key is when you come out of that, you have to have a plan to develop new habits, or in a few days, you'll be right back to where you were before, which is unproductive and addicted to your phone. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the formula for that. Guys ask me that shit all the time. So
like I said, I that's the direction I just want to start moving towards when I'm talking to my channel and my guys. Cause like, I'm not here to be popular on YouTube. I'm not here to get clout. I'm not here to chase vanity metrics. I'm here to fucking heal, man. That's what I do. And I'm fucking goddamn very good at it. Okay. I make heroes. I fucking sort these dudes out. And that's what we're all about here. Like none of us here like, yeah, just get on like our fucking alpha pill subscription and you'll be for $39.95 a month, you'll be a super alpha male. Like we're none of that shit. But we're all about solutions. Noah Crandall, $5 super chat says it all goes back to what Jordan Peterson said: find your purpose. Everything falls back in place in your life. I disagree. I think really you have to sort your mind out. Sort your mind out. Because if the operating system is broken, right, it doesn't matter. If your car's stuck in second gear, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. You can put a fucking highest octane gas. You can have fucking supercharged, turbocharged, all the fucking mechanical term Rich knows, right? Wherever the fuck you are, but you're not going to go anywhere, right? So, anyways, that's what we're talking about. We're going to wrap it up here. Really got to appreciate you all for watching. Smash that like button, and then we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Rule Zero.